Hi, welcome back to my channel and to the anti-TBR tag, where I'm going to talk about some of the books and authors that I have no intention of reading. So as usual, if I can find the original video and the original creator, I will link them below. Otherwise, let me know in the comments some of your answers. If you have done this tag, post your video in the comments and I will take a look. So there are 8 questions. Question 1, a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. I would probably say Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I have read a couple of other books by her and to be honest, I really didn't love them. I didn't love her writing. I didn't think they were that great, and so I don't really plan to read any more from her. Question 2, a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. Probably anything by Jane Austen. It's just not my thing. So question 3 has 2 parts to it. Part 1 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading, and part 2 is a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. Now, I'm going to be completely honest and say I don't really pay attention to problematic authors. It depends on what you think is problematic about them and their writing. Are you judging them as a person, or are you saying that their writing is an issue, the things that they write about and the way that they write them? There's also a thing about context and timing. If they've been dead for 100 years, they are not necessarily a problematic author, because what was going on in the time that they were alive was not classed as a problem in society at that time. Things change, history changes, that's the whole point. You will only learn about things being problematic if you read them. You need to read and understand and learn for yourself in order to decide what is problematic. So for that part of this question, I don't have an answer. In terms of just authors who I have no interest in, to be honest, they tend to just be from the genres that I have no interest in. So what I would class as full-on fantasy, romance, things like that, I generally just am not interested in the genre. So authors who write those books are kind of a no-no for me. Question 4, an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. For this question, I have 2 answers. So one I have already mentioned is Gillian Flynn. I have read a couple of her books. One was Sharp Objects and the other one I cannot remember the title off the top of my head. But I didn't enjoy either of them. I read them when they first came out, so this is quite a long time ago now, but I didn't think the writing was very good. I didn't like the plots, I didn't like the characters. There wasn't a huge amount going for them in terms of what I thought. The second author is Michelle Paver. So I have mentioned her in a recent reading wrap-up. I have now read 2 of her books, and to be honest, I found them both really disappointing. They were both described as ghost stories, and for me, neither of them were that. They were semi-atmospheric, a bit of a letdown, slightly bland, not a lot of plot going for them, and I think they could have been so much better if written by somebody else. Question 5, a genre you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. So as I say, a genre I have no interest in is romance and high fantasy. A genre I've tried, to be honest, I haven't really tried it very much, but a genre that I would probably give a bit more consideration and maybe try a few more books would be sci-fi. As long as they don't gear full on into weird fantasy worlds, I would probably be willing to give sci-fi a bit more of a chance. If it was more of a thriller horror, element, then maybe that would change my mind. Question 6. A book you have bought but will never read. This can be a book you've unhauled, returned to the library unread. To be honest, I don't really tend to buy books if I then don't intend to read them. I have a lot of unread books on my shelves, but I am hoping to at some point read them all. How long that will take me, when I will get to read things, that is a completely different question. But I'm not really one for buying books and then thinking, actually, I'm never going to read this. I occasionally might get gifted something and think, no, this isn't quite for me. And if that is the case, depending on what the genre is and what the book is like, I might actually just lend it to my parents first, get one of them to read it, see what they think. I have very similar taste in books to my dad, so if he reads it and enjoys it, then I will probably give it a go anyway. Question 7. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and DNF'd. So the horror genre doesn't tend to include that many series. However, crime and crime thrillers do. They can do. The only series I have started in the past and not finished was the Rizzoli and Isles series by Tess Gerritsen. And I actually enjoyed the books that I did read, but I just got a bit bored with the main characters and then just gave up on the series. I just kind of DNF'd them and then ended up unhauling them all to make space on my shelves. And then question 8 is a new release you have no interest in reading. So this year I am doing the 50 book challenge. So I am attempting to read 50 books off of my physical TBR, so the books that I already owned before the start of this year, before buying any more. And so far, I have succeeded in not looking at any new releases for this year. I am avoiding temptation, and so far, I'm doing quite well. But it does mean I have absolutely no idea about new things coming up. I haven't really watched that many BookTube videos talking about new releases for that reason. I just don't want to be tempted to add them to wish lists because my compulsive shopping will take over and I will fail the challenge. So I don't know of any new releases coming up, and so I don't know of any that I don't want to read. So that is the tag. As I say, if you have specific answers to any of these questions, let me know. And if you have done this tag, link your video so that I can watch it. And I will see you in another video soon.